Thank you, Presiding Officer. And let me just start briefly by offering some respect to Hugh Henry. If that was his valedictory address to us here today, there's no better subject that he could have been speaking on. It's not always someone I've agreed in every detail, but I think I absolutely share his commitment, which I acknowledge, to trying to make the lives of people in Scotland better, even if we differ sometimes about methods in doing so. And in doing so, I think that addresses dignity, fairness and respect that the Cabinet Secretary anchored the debate on quite properly. Sir William Beveridge, who underpinned much of what we're engaging with today. It's evolved a lot since the report, the Beveridge report was started in 1941 with a survey, but nonetheless, the approach that was taken then is one which we live with today. And perhaps one of the important things to think about is what is the society which we are part of, what is the society of which we wish to be part in future. We can all contribute to society. I think we would all accept that. I'm not certain that the Conservatives, however, would agree with my assertion that we do not have to be a worker to contribute to society. I think the amendment that the Conservatives bring forward anchors social security and support in being in employment. Lots of people contribute to society without being able to, willing to, or actually being in employment. And we must separate the needs of people in our society from the ability to financially be part of our society. Many people simply can't be that, and I would fundamentally disagree with colleagues on the Conservative benches. Now, quite a lot of the debate's been about mechanical issues. Inevitably, the Cabinet Secretary talked a great deal about how we will do this. Beveridge, quite interestingly, in his budgets for his proposals, put a cap on the administration cost of the system that he proposed of 5%. And I think that's a pretty good starting place for the Cabinet Secretary to perhaps think about. In the modern, efficient world with good quality computer systems, we might do even rather better. And it's also worth thinking that perhaps smaller uplifts in how much we expend can perhaps have bigger impacts than we think. Beveridge's system actually only increased expenditure on social services by 50%. You would think for the radical transformation that it effected, it would be much more. It was much more fundamentally that it refocused what we were doing. The system that preceded it for the previous 30 years, of course, came from Lloyd George's introduction of the Old Age Pension Act, which he introduced in 1908. The House of Lords, of course, vigorously opposed it, and in 1911 their sails were trimmed so that their powers to block legislation were reduced. I fear we're back in the position of the House of Lords, with adding extra members, as the Tories plan to do, having undue influence over public policy. But we will see. The bottom line is that we need to focus on people. The original system was the Chelsea pensioner system, introduced in 1689 by King William and Queen Mary. My great-great-grandfather was a Chelsea pensioner from 1818 because he was an army pensioner. But today we're in a different position. We need to make sure that we are able to afford what we do, but we've got to focus first, middle and bottom on the people that we are trying to support, and I'm sure we will be doing that, Presiding Officer.